So the man again with the red flag runs off. Let's hope we get a better start than we did last time. We're on board with Terry Rymer. Looks like he's got it rolling well from where he is on the grid. Russell gets a good start. But look, right from the front row of the grid there, it looked like Poland again. But oh dear me, everybody sitting up there in the middle of the field. Well, that was very lucky not to end in tears there. It looked to me like we're going to have a few riders in the dirt, but Perovino got off the front. But it's Carl Fogarty that has already forced his way. When he said he was fired up, he's scary, isn't he?
He is. He went round the outside of the far side of Perovino. There's Jim Whittam well back upside of Scott Russell. Andy Mecklow it was who got the biggest shove off the grid. Perovino, I thought, had got the whole shot into the first bend, but Carl rode round the outside of him, and he's doing just as in the first leg. He's disappearing from Doug Poland, Perovino, and Aaron Slight.
Well, he can do no more than that, that's for sure. Well, Poland up there. What's Chris Herring on? He seems to know where these guys are going to finish. Chris Herring predicted Poland on the rostrum, and, well, I wouldn't have given him money for it. Well, we have a bit of a blackout there, so Fogarty comes through the shade brilliantly. Poland is in second place now. Poland is up to second place. Chris Herring, if he gets Poland on the podium here in this afternoon's race, I'm going to buy him a pint.
Oh, we're going to buy him breakfast.
Well, I think it's great for Doug Poland because he really has had a bit of a down market kind of a season, hasn't he, really? Doug Poland struggled all year long, but Slight already up the inside now of Perovino. Slight slips into third place, and next man is Poland in his sight. Fogarty is away. Russell now is in front of Whittam. Well, he was in front of Whittam anyway, but Whittam's climbing all over him, so looking back at Perovino from Slight.
That's a worrying sight, isn't it?
Oh, it really is. Look at that. Up the inside, Perovino, yes or no?
No.
The answer is yes. Thank you.
Wrong again, Julian. And Fabrizio on the brakes is a bit of a demon. He weighs nothing, and the bike's a lot like the Japanese Fords. But there goes Carl, disappearing into the distance. Perovino second. Doug Poland, who has had 3 rostrum positions only this year, but has scored points every time out. If we look at James Whittam, going around the outside of Andy Mecklow, I think, with Scott Russell now behind the Austrian.
Well, really, James Whittam got caught napping on that start as well. There have been a couple of scruffy starts, although it didn't look as bad. That time as through goes Aaron Slight on Doug Poland. Well, sits that teammate, inverted commas. No love lost ever on the track between teammates, even though I'm sure both those men, who are both really nice fellas, are friends off a bit. Looking back down the pack, 110.6 going through there at the back of the grid. Poor old Maria Giorgio picking up just a few points. That looked to me like Perovino is out. Perovino pulls to the side, so Perovino's bike has gone pop again. That's the end of Perovino. Well, like race number 1, Fabrizio Perovino, after looking very promising indeed, goes out. Fingers crossed, and I'm going to hold both sets of fingers crossed now for that man, Carl Fogarty, just gone through our screen, because if his bike stays together, at least he'll get some points back. This man, though, Aaron Slight, bike 3, championship leader by a mile. Russell right with him, though, following him through, but the dejected Italian, you can see how big he is there. He's only sort of knee-height or Ducati, isn't he?
That's a very small motorcycle. Fabrizio qualified third. DNF with electrical problems in the first race, same again. Scott Russell now up to third, having got past Doug Poland, and keeping very close company with Aaron Slight, as Carl Fogarty continues to his disappearing act. There he is. He's back in vision at the front of the field. Yeah, Chris Herring oozing confidence on behalf of James Whittam, I'd say, as we look at the second place man, Aaron Slight, exhibiting, well, toughness beyond the call of duty, I'd say. Now, has he put a vital couple of bike lengths into Scott Russell? Russell is not quite joined to him at the hip as he has been for most of this race, and there's Chris Herring's prediction coming through as James Whittam starts to bridge the gap between Poland and Russell.
James Whittam was saying that his tyres were as good in the last lap as they were the first couple of laps, so I think we won't have a problem there. I think the tyres will do the distance.
It was also said by Aaron Slight that he's got a bit of a problem with the front. I mean, how do you compensate for that if you're tipping it in and it's just not with you?
Oh, maybe his bike's a bit more biased to the front end, so maybe Slight will have a problem, but if James can just get in the slipstream here and get caught up with him, he might be able to get by the pair of them, yeah. Thanks
very much there, Ian. As we see, Scott Russell, who slid through now while we were chatting on Aaron Slight. So Russell, using all of the track and a bit more, is away in second place. Now, it'll be interesting to see if he can settle down into a really heavyweight pace and pull away from Aaron Slight, and maybe, just maybe, and I take the point what Chris Herring said earlier about the characteristics of Scott Russell, where he makes a big go for the second race of the day. He always seems to build up in the first race and go flying in the second one. I mean that as off the track, not as in go flying. Do you think he can make a bit of an inroads into Carl Fogarty, Jules?
Well, I take your point, and Chris is about the Scott Russell habit of going much quicker second time out. I thought a lap ago that Aaron Slight had fought him off. I thought Russell had a go, couldn't make it, but here we are with the man fulfilling his form and really going for it. I want to see the gap. I'd love to get the stopwatch on the gap between Fogarty and Russell a couple of times. I don't believe anybody can touch Carl Fogarty. There he is in this mood, Keith, unless he has mechanical problems.
Well, model he is, and Poland is going to get the treatment from him in a moment, because McLeod is right now with Doug Poland. Poland looks to me like looks like he's got a tyre problem, perhaps, on that Honda. So if he's suffering from it, he doesn't look at all happy, does he?
No, and Doug needs his bike to be 100%, as we often remark.
Yeah, absolutely, but that's not a tyre problem, because McLeod's driven straight by, so that we have something. Maybe he's got a gear change problem or something along those lines. It certainly didn't look. It looked like he was struggling with some controls, but down the right-hand side, so that's the brake lever as far as that's concerned. So I wonder whether he has a problem. Can't imagine the rear brake affected him much, not unless it's stuck on.
Well, the bike definitely had a big bit of movement there, didn't it, in that right-hander, and that slowed Doug down. He certainly didn't carry as much speed onto the straight as normal, and as you said, Andy McLeod drove straight past. Now, there's James, and Doug Poland has gone straight back past him. Yes, he has. Number 23, Doug Poland back in front of Andy McLeod. So that was a temporary problem, may we assume?
Well, yeah, I think that's all we can do. So Doug Poland, whatever his problem is, it's intermittent, so he's going to hang on in there, but that's given James Whittam a little bit of relief, because he doesn't now have to worry quite so much. Now, where was Aaron Slight?
That was my question.
Where was Aaron Slight? We saw Scott Russell go through the picture then, but we did not see Aaron Slight. So somewhere, and I can't imagine Aaron Slight would have pulled that far away from Scott Russell if he'd made a move. Well, Carl Fogarty leads this race. We now look to see what has happened to Aaron Slight and wait for our Indonesian race director to try and pick up the hot news out on the track there. And please give us a bit of information regarding that. So, Carl Fogarty is off the front. Whittam is okay here, I think now in third place. Scott Russell was second with Aaron Slight right with him.
Scott Russell may have made a mistake, of course, and we keep getting glimpses of the back of Scott Russell's bike. We don't see what's in front of him. He's made a mistake. There's Aaron.
So Aaron Slight has pulled away a mile. That's good call for Julian. Scott Russell has gone backwards by a mile there, so what on earth has happened to Scott Russell?
Good God, it's 2 in a day I've got right.
Absolutely, I mean, well right. So Scott Russell, brilliantly as he's ridden all the way through this race, somehow finds himself very much the poor relation to Aaron Slight. Well,
that must have been a real big mistake, or almost a grass track or a near high side, because we saw at the Doug Poland when he had a bit of a whoopsie on that right-hander, he bit straight back, didn't he? Got back in front of Andy McLeod, but Scott Russell has dropped way back. Oh, it's a good fight with Terry Reimer and Stefan Mertens involved.
Reimer's bike there didn't look at all settled on that track. It was up and down on the suspension, so Terry Reimer's bike didn't look happy at all in the middle of that turn. Certainly a suspension type problem that he's got there. That's Bontempi, number 6, so Giorgio Bontempi struggling like mad. Well, there's only 18 starters, so he's trying to go for some points. Mertens is 7, 37 is the roomy Honda of Simon Crafar.
And if we saw 63 there, the French Kawasaki, that was Adrian Marillas on the front of the dive, so a very experienced rider. But these guys are way back from the leaders. Here's Terry Reimer's onboard camera. That's Adrian Marillas through the haze in front of him. I think so. And surely, Carl, we can't have a repeat of the sort of luck that afflicted you in the first leg. Where's Aaron? There he is. He's only got past one of the back markers by the look of it, Keith. So Carl's judged that, I think, very well indeed.
He's looking down the side of the bike again. Just stop that, Carl Fogarty. Last lap then. We're on the last lap, if my reckoning is correct. Carl Fogarty just has 1 lap to go. Aaron Slight then has dispensed one of the back markers. He has 2 more to do it. Russell still third. And Whittam is still in 4th place. Carl Fogarty looking over his shoulder, taking a long look. Really very steady towards the end of this race. I know not why. Maybe Carl has a very slight oil leak. The only way that he would have known about that on the right-hand side of the bike is if his boot started to slip on the footrest, perhaps, and that's what's taking his attention. That's why he's having a look down the side of the bike. And, of course, as a rider, you really don't know if it's going onto your rear tyre until you tip it into the turn and you're in the grass.
Aaron Slight still having trouble with those 2 back markers. Carl, if it keeps going, you're going to win it, mate. And this is Aaron Slight's view. I mean, that's the Italian, Moroni in front of him. He knows you're there now, Aaron.
Yeah, you're going the other side, Aaron. That's what I like. Be awkward. So Aaron Slight gets past well, he's passed both of them now, so Aaron Slight has clean air in front of him, between him and the first place man, Carl Fogarty. This is the last lap. Foggy takes a good long look over his shoulder. Less than half a lap left to go then. Carl Fogarty is going to take this race win, I think.
I hope and I pray. I'm not just Nancy, but I'm starting to discover it at the moment, I think.
Here we go then. Carl Fogarty comes out onto the start and finish line. He is going to take the race win in leg number 2, but the championship leader, Aaron Slight, gets second place. What a race meeting this has been. Drama indeed for Carl Fogarty, but he's still superb, isn't he? Jamie Whittam comes in 4th. Scott Russell will be in 3rd. No, he's not. Look at Poland. Poland finished back behind McLeod. McLeod got 5th in the end. Poland gets 6th. So Poland really fell back in the end of this thing. But at the end of the day, it was down to Carl Fogarty, a superb ride from him.